Hello, boys and girls. This is Anna. I am the project manager and lead developer on this wonderful game called PinBuilder. And I would like to show you guys a few of the things about the way the game works, some of the key controls, and how to play the game. First of all, I'd like to say that we do highly recommend that you play the game with like an Xbox controller. Even though this is on PC, having a controller with force feedback makes this game so much more immersive. We all use one here, and I don't know even what else to say. Just any kind of force feedback controller you have that will work with the game, you should use. The keyboard is usable as well, but it's just not quite the same. But it's still awesome. This is going to be the first screen that you see when you start up PinBuilder. After you see some intro logos, which you can disable. You'll notice that we have a few different things. Here we have tables. The first thing we'll talk about is the tables scroll bar up here. If you right click, you can grab it and move it back and forth, or you can use the mouse wheel to do this. We're also going to add controller interaction with this as well. It's not currently there, but we'll try to get it out prior to the initial release, which is coming up this Friday. So you have tables, which you can choose from, and this is where you will choose them to play them or edit them. Next, you'll see the rooms right here, and that's where you can select what room you want to play your game in. You can select the room one time, and it'll keep opening the tables up in that room for play mode. So these rooms are playrooms, actually. Maybe it should say playrooms there, but they are just the rooms in which you play the games. This one is obviously your home arcade. This is an outer space one, and we're going to add tons more as time goes on. Those will just be part of the game at first, at least. There's not any plan yet to make those something that you can edit yourselves, but there are some options for rooms, which we'll show you in a moment. In the main menu here, you can quit the game right there, and you can go to settings. So here are some in-game settings. If you want to turn off those logos, you can select that. When you open up a table, you can have it open in arcade mode or workshop mode. It just depends on what you're doing. If you're into playing your games, start up in arcade mode. But if you're working on a table, then you may want to just have workshop mode set. You have master volume and tilt option. If you set tilt all the way to the left, then it won't tilt at all. And if you set it anywhere beyond that, it makes tilting or nudging the game without tilting it a little bit more challenging. So I'm going to put it down there. This is the color selector for the color of the selected objects in edit mode. So if you want to change that, you can do that here. And then if you want to change your screen settings, you can do that here. The game is basically designed to run in 1920 by 1080. We're going to probably need to work on larger, like 4K and 8K resolution experiments, but we don't have any displays that run in those resolutions here in the shop, so we'll have to rely on user feedback, I guess, at least initially. If you want to adjust any of the controls, just select controls at the top there, and for edit mode, these are all the controls and you can change them. Actually, there are probably more controls that need to go in this list. Here's the play mode controls, and you can see what they are there. Down and up are your arrow keys, and we'll get right into showing you how all these things work right now. Okay, so let's select a game to play. I believe we'll go with Meadow. We'll select that. I left-clicked on it, and since the space room was the last one I had open, that's what we see. So here we have Meadow floating in space. So we're in the room, and basically, you can play this game while you're sitting in the middle of nowhere in space, away from the moon, and or near the moon, I should say. Let's jump back into the menu and select the home arcade, and you'll see that now Meadow opens up here in the home arcade. I'm going to back out and show you a few cool things. So first of all, when when you spawn into the game, you are in camera position 4, which is the last position that you moved the camera in and just left it there. So you have basically 4 camera selections that you can make. This is number 4, so if you press number 4 on the keyboard, you'll be in that first position that your camera was in, or that you last moved it to. If you press 1 on your keyboard, it'll move you to the number 1 preset. Now, if you want to move this back just a smidge or up or however you want to set that, basically you can hold Alt key and press the 1 button, and that will set that to your number 1 position. So I just did that. Now I'm going to move back to number 4. Oops. Number 4 changed because I moved the camera, but I can move it back here. And now if I move to number 1, you'll see that it's askew instead of being straight over. So you can 4, 1, I'm going to move over here. I'm going to change 1 with Alt 1. Was that right? Alt 1. There we go. And now we'll go, if I hit 4, you see that the camera's still right there. So this is 3, 2, 1 is now there, and wherever I move the camera to, that'll be number 4. So we go to 1. Now 4 is over here. And 4 is always where you get dropped into the arcade. So, or into the whatever game room you're in. It'll always pop up in that same spot. So what you're seeing here is your main machine that you're going to play. And then these with the mats on them are your other games that you have. And they are obviously off to save electricity, right? Okay, so we have a number of things. The details we are trying to implement are deep. We have a power switch under here that currently is not set to do anything. We have our coin door, and we have our plunger. Let's look at this plunger real quick before we get started. So plunging is easy. You can use the mouse wheel. So I'm mouse wheeling back towards myself, and then I'm going to press the left mouse button, and that releases it. Or you can use your controller, like so. I'm using the controller. Right stick, pull the right stick back, and it'll pull the plunger back. And then the A button releases that. And you do get a little haptic feedback, or tactile feedback when you do that. Okay, let's see, what's another option? Glass. So you have a glass on your playfield, but if you press the G key, you can remove the glass if you'd like. That might be necessary if you just don't want to see reflections above the balls or playfield, or if you need to save some frame rates, you can turn the glass off if you want, but it doesn't really gobble up too much in terms of frame rate. I'm going to leave it off for now. Another button next to the G key is the H key for the heads-up display. So if you're in a view such as number 1 where you can't see the back glass, you can hit H, and that'll bring up the heads-up display. We also have, if you notice on the left side now, it says table angle and FOV. These are 2 in-game settings that you can make without even going into any menus. So in order to change the table angle, this will cause the ball to roll faster down towards the drain, or slower, depending. If you hold down the left control key and then roll the mouse wheel back towards you, it increases the angle up to 45 degrees. And if you roll it away from you, it decreases the angle down to 0 degrees. We recommend 12. The industry standard seems to be about 7 to 9, but we like it at 12. That just gives us a nice heavy feel to the ball. Keep in mind that the ball might not shoot out of the into the shooter lane properly if you have the table set at too sharp an angle. Now for FOV, super easy to change. So if you want to look around, you hold your right mouse button down. By the way, I hope I mentioned that earlier. To look around, press the right mouse button. And the reason that's drifting is because of my controller. Hold the right mouse button down and hold the Alt key down, the left Alt, and then scroll the mouse wheel and you can change your FOV to whatever you want. Literally like any setting that you want. it will go from super duper zoomed up to incredibly crazily zoomed out. So you can do any kinds of FOV you want. And by the way, these two settings right there, they do save automatically. So that is saved. Also, while you have the right mouse button down, if you roll that mouse wheel forwards, let's see, this is forwards, makes it go faster. And then if you roll the mouse wheel back, it'll slow down. And these key commands are all in the manual that comes with the game. So if you're wondering where that is, very simple. Go into the menu and then click this little icon right here. And that shows you where on your computer the manual will be located. Also, this shows you your custom files locations. And this also has the option to re-display the early access welcome screen, which you can read now or later. So in order to play a game, first let's insert a coin. So that's number 5 on the keyboard. Or that would be also the right bumper on the controller. I am switching to the controller now, but I'll give you the controls for both keyboard and controller. All right, the keyboard start game is the T key, and that's just a temporary musical note. Oops. Let's go to our third view here, and we're in the game now. There's no background sounds on this particular game, and that's why I wanted to use it so you could hear me talking. So I'm using the controller to bonk the ball a little bit there. And before we start playing, I wanted to share a couple other things with you. Let's see if our number 4 view is still back. Yeah, okay, before we get started, I wanted to show you that if you use the arrow keys on the keyboard, you can turn the room lights up and down. These settings auto-save, by the way, so you don't have to save them anywhere. If you leave the lights off, the next time you play, they'll be off. And also, let's go back up here. That's the right arrow, left arrow, up arrow, and down arrow will also change lighting, and they will change the lights on the playfield. That changes your GI lighting on the playfield. Okay, so let's give it some light, and now I'm going to shoot the ball. So the flippers are the triggers on the controller, and they are also the shift keys on the keyboard. And to nudge with the keyboard, you press the keys closest to the shift keys, which are Z and question mark, and then space to move forward. And let's get this. On the left side there, you can see that red bar next to the table angle. You see how it starts to show red and it gets brighter as I'm nudging the game. This is because that's your tilt percentage. If that hits the top, you will tilt the game. Okay, so let's just play. And by the way, this table does have the lane change option set, and that's something we'll get into later when we start discussing logic mode and how to set up logic for your games. You can change views while you're playing. And I'm going to press the I key. Let me go back to the HUD here so you can see this. I press I, and you see now it says AI on the left there. Watch this. Oops. I'm not touching the game. So that's the game playing pinball by itself. Now it doesn't nudge yet, but who knows? Maybe it will one day. I think it's probably better at playing than I am. fun to just let it play. And it'll even shoot the ball on its own. It does not pull the string with it. And I just turned that off, just so it will not be so noisy. All right, so that's basically that for play mode. The left bumper on the controller turns the glass on and off. The left menu button takes you back to the main menu there. The right menu button takes you to the workshop, which is here. And I'll just quickly show you that the arrow buttons work for this as well, so you can adjust your brightness of the game and the room. And here's just a little peek around the room. Hello. Nice, looking good. You can move around all over the place. When you want to make changes to the playfield, you just click on stuff and do it. When you want to make changes to the cabinet, you click the cabinet, and then you get all these cabinet options. So here you could set up a background sound, and these all have audition arrows. So there's my cheesy startup music. That's a game end sound, which is just temporary. I have a bunch of sounds added. These are all sounds that come with the game, and you can change them and edit them and mess with them or replace them if you want to. If there's a sound in here that you think, oh, that's really dumb, I'd like to replace that sound with something else, well, you can totally do that. That is absolutely doable. For example, you could completely change this texture for the game here and put in your own. You can do it as simply as placing your texture files in the right folders, and there they go. They'll be in there. Where do you put them? Very simple. Just go back to the main menu and click this button, and this will show you where you should put user images and user sounds, and that's where you'll find all the images for these as well. So those are all ones that you can use with the game. You may not redistribute them on your own or anything like that, of course, because we own the rights to all these images. And that's about that, I guess. That's about all you need to know for playing. So that's play mode, and that's about that. Just wanted to make a real quick video for you guys to see how playing the game works. So we're going to make some videos on constructing your own tables and how to do all that in the coming days. Whether those will be ready before or after we release on Friday, we're not sure, but we'll probably be putting those out shortly after our release, barring any unforeseen issues or anything like that. So we should be pretty good to go. And so until the next one, thank you for watching, and we look forward to getting your feedback on the game and seeing what you build with it. We're so excited to see what you guys come up with. So until the next video, take care.